Morning, everybody. Just getting all set up here. We got about 4 minutes before the show starts. So go ahead and grab your coffee, take a washroom break, and we'll get started soon. Morning, Frank. Good morning, Nicole. We're just about to get started here in about a minute. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Diane, Ali, Frank, Nicole, welcome to today's show. We're going to be talking about 4 things you'll want to know after you set up your lovely Top Producer X CRM. I've seen a couple of your names, actually. I think you guys were in our Tuesday show. So thank you for listening to my advice and coming in for a second time. I'm glad you guys found something useful in that Tuesday show and are back for more, right? Joining me today again is our awesome onboarding specialist, Heather Crozier. Good morning or good afternoon, Heather.
Good morning to you. And I am on the East Coast, so it is afternoon here. Glad to have you guys all here. And this is actually one of my favorite parts about the onboarding. The webinar here is that we get to go kind of dig in more deep into the system and show you some fun things. The setup, now that you're all set up, then we can actually really start showing you how to use the system.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning, James, Michael, and I think I got everybody. Dan, Frank, Ali, Michael, Nicole. Just to give you guys a little bit of a profile on who we are. So I'm the training specialist here in customer care. Been with the company for over 12 years. So I've been through it all, through the great real estate crash and all that stuff. And, maybe we're coming into more uncertain times this year, right? Especially with the inflation and everything like that. So I'm glad you guys made the decision to double down into your efforts and really investing your time and effort and resources into a CRM like ours. So very happy to see you guys here. And Heather, she is one of our onboarding specialists. And if you need that one-on-one help and you just need, that guiding hand, and maybe you need someone to create some templates for you, right? With a little bit of direction. Her team will be glad to help you out with that. So I'll let you kind of take the mic there, Heather, just to let us know about yourself.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so I do work in the onboarding. So some of you here may have worked with me or someone else in the onboarding as well. So it's kind of very similar to what we do with these webinars. You do have the option to join in on these webinars for free, and there is a fee for the onboarding because you do get special one-on-one time with us, and that way you can ask any question, and we can really help set you up and make sure you get the most out of your CRM. I know myself, I really do enjoy the webinar or doing the onboarding because I get that one-on-one time with you guys and showing you how to, get your business organized and saving you time and making you money.
Yeah, and this is webinars free, so hopefully we're gonna give you some value right away. So thank you, Diane and Nicole, for using the chat, and we love to see that. Please please use the chat and let us know if you want us to go over a certain topic. Maybe after the 2 days that you've started using it, you really like something in there and you want to talk about that a little bit more. Or maybe there's a specific feature that you kind of don't know what it's for and where you're stuck, something like that. This session is definitely interactive. We like to change it up on our Thursday shows. So anything you guys ask in the chat, we'll tackle it as much as we can, as in-depth as we can. Otherwise, we do have some prepared presentation, but we can change that up if you guys want to learn about something else, right? So we want to custom tailor this presentation for you guys. If you do need help after the show, definitely use the chat functionality in your product. On the bottom right corner, there should be a chat bubble you just click on. We should be able to answer within a minute. That's our average response time at the moment. And we're available Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific, or 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. If you can't log in and you still need help, you can go to support.topproducer.com, which happens to be our self-serve learning portal. And if you need help logging in, you can also chat with us through there. If you don't need an immediate response, you can you can email support@topproducer.com, and we usually respond within 24-48 hours around that time. So if you just need a copy of your invoice, update your credit, a copy of invoice, or just maybe an article on how to do something very specific that you don't need help right now and you want to deal with it later, when you're back in the office, definitely use our email system. If you ever do get stuck, I know chat can sometimes be a little hard to translate, right? There's sometimes you can have miscommunication between you and the chat person about exactly what you're having trouble with. We may give you a call. So we do have some limited phone support, which we use. Not all the time because, we don't want a big hold time that everyone has to wait and all that stuff. So, but if it gets a little complicated on chat, we do call out to you guys.
But unlike Diane's experience, she seemed to have a great experience, which is awesome. We love to hear that. I've been on chat before too. So just so you know, we are real people on chat, and we're going to help you out the best we can. And like Dan said, if we can't help you in the chat, we will call you. I think it's a great convenience, especially because it's real people. It's not bots you're speaking to. But I like it because any other program that I need to use and I can go through chat because I can do other things while I'm waiting to get a response from chat and not be waiting on a phone. But I mean, it is personal preference, but definitely it's nice to hear that you had a great experience, Diane.
Yeah, I'm laughing because there's this new technology. I don't know if you guys have heard about this called Chat GPT. It's kind of getting viral, and it's kind of there's a little bit of novelty going on with it, and you can go and it really sounds like a human that you're chatting with. So, we are not Chat GPT. Although that thing is getting really close. When I tried it, I'm like, oh man, watch out for my team. But anyways, so a little side aside there. Today we're gonna learn about these 4 items. We're gonna learn about how to better organize your contacts. We have something called contact status and contact types. And for those of you that joined us on Tuesday, I did kind of go in depth with that already, but I'm just gonna give you guys a refresher, especially for those that haven't heard about those yet. So definitely that's like one of the most important things about your contacts is knowing, are they ready or are they not ready, and what kind of marketing should I send them, right? Because each person is going to be different, and we use the contact status and contact type to help you guys manage that game plan, that follow-up game plan that you have with all your database. I was just looking at a Facebook poll from one of these real estate coaches that we follow, and he put a poll saying, hey, where's the last listing? Where did your last listing come from? 75% or over 75% of them said their database, right? Their family, their past clients, their sphere of influence. It's not through like TikTok, Facebook, right? Although those are cool things that you should always look to get new leads, right? 75% of your listings are still from your database. So good job on you guys, at least to having a CRM. The best CRM is the one that you use, right? So we're just glad that you guys picked us. And we've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this since 1982. So hopefully that speaks to the fact that we kind of know what we're doing, right? We kind of know what we're talking about, right? So you're joining a good company that has a lot of long-term users. And hopefully you guys will see the same success. The second item on here is how can you simplify your database management with the follow-up coach? And then the third thing, we're going to go over all the different tools where you can, text people, you can email people, all the different ways you can communicate with your clients, especially drip campaigns and templates. So we'll go over that, and something called the automated lead response plan. And finally, we're going to talk about, what are the little pro tips that I can give you guys when you're inside a contact record, all the little details that you can put in, like birthdays, relationships, and then how you can schedule your task and how to automate some of those scheduling that you have to do. So thank you guys. And by the way, I just want to promote again, go into the chat if you have any specific topics you want to talk about, because if some of this is repeat for you, we would love to talk about other topics that you want to talk, that you want me to go over. So moving right along here, first thing we're going to talk about is the statuses and the contact types. So we've got the contacts. Let me just do a demo here, because I feel like there's a few of you here that have been here on Tuesday. So I don't really want to go over the same talking points over and over again. But in my contact section, right, you got all these different tabs, right? If you didn't already know, new means you've never talked to them, right? The goal for new is talking to them within first 5 minutes. And I'm actually going to pull up, see, I'm already calling an audible. I'm actually going to pull up another one of my presentations here that I use for another product that we have, just to paint the picture here, because this is really important. And not a lot of realtors, I feel like, are taking advantage of this. So this is, we got this statistics from MIT regarding online leads. And this orange bar presents how many times you're able to actually get them to answer the phone call, right? How many times you've contacted them. And then the green bar represents how many times you've actually qualified them on that call. And within the first 5 minutes, you can see it's pretty good, right? Let's say, it's a good contact rate. But then if you wait too long, instead of contacting them within 5 minutes, you contacted them within 10 minutes, right? Maybe you were just finishing up lunch or whatever, right? you can see the decrease in contact rate, right? That's huge, right? That's lost opportunity right there. And even after you reach them, people have such short attention spans nowadays that, when you even reach them at 10 minutes, they're like, I don't remember filling out any form. Why are you calling me, right? They're going to think you're a telemarketer. So you can see the qualifying rate is actually lower too, when it comes to just a difference of 5 minutes, right? And then there's other things too, like, only half of people that are going online are being responded to, right? And the average response time is 16 hours or 15 hours on the screen here, right? So that's why I kind of wanted to go over that quickly, because you really got to manage your new leads as the most urgent thing that you can do for your database, right? Any new lead that you've never talked to, you need to prioritize it. You got to stop what you're doing or hire somebody to be able to do it. You need to respond to them right away. And we've got a tool for that. If you guys get online leads, we actually have some automation in TPX that can help with that. So more on that a little later, but yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that new status. It's really important that you put people into the new status if you've never talked to them. That way you kind of force yourself to say, okay, they're new, I got to talk to them right away. Or if you have a team, I put someone in you, let's say you're the broker and you put someone in you expect your team that's logging into their top producer X on a daily basis, or hopefully constantly throughout the day, you expect them to reach out to those new contacts right away. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Heather.
We're going along with what you said later on that we'll follow up as the automated lead response. We'll dig into it a little bit later. But I would just make it a habit of coming in here every day and going into your new, if you are getting those leads coming in from online. So this is the only time you should have leads come into the new tab, is when they are coming in from online, because chances are if you're adding them manually yourself, you've already engaged with them, you're already communicating. Yeah. New should only be your contacts that you've had zero communication with. Yeah,
exactly. Your goal is to have new at 0, right? Like if I'm a realtor, you can see I'm a pretty poor realtor because I've left my new leads here for 2 days too long. And even this one was January 9, right? So it's not good, right?
So you've already lost that lead, Dan.
Exactly. After 5 minutes, it's gone, right? Pretty much. At least when it comes to online leads, right? So yeah, that's why when you first log into your top producer, that's why we bring you to the new leads right away, because they're the most urgent. They might not be the most important, right? But they're just the most urgent in your time right now. So that's why when you first log in, by default, we show you your new tab, right?
And if I could just follow up there with Diane, absolutely. So as soon as you've reached out to them, I would put them in the engage, and they could stay in there maybe a week or a couple weeks, but usually from the engage tab, you're trying to find out if they're a hot or a cold lead. And from there, they're either going to go into the future or the active. Future being that they're not ready to buy or sell right now. And obviously you want to get them into the active. That is your main goal.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly. And just to crystallize that even further, if you don't know yet, you're still trying to figure out, that's what the engage status is for. So these are people that you're still trying to figure out, right? But once you've figured it out that, okay, they're hot, I'm going to put them into active. They're cold, I'm going to put them into future. It just works like that. And then hopefully, right, everybody goes to close, right? That means you made money. And this is a really good one to make sure you track as well, because I don't have the slide for it, but there's statistics out there that says like over like 80% of like clients say that they would be happy to work with their previous realtor, right? So that's good, right? But on the other side, the other question that was asked in that same survey was how many of them actually ended up going back to their past realtor, and it's actually pretty low at like less than 20%. So there's like a huge gap of opportunity. And unfortunately, that responsibility falls on you, the realtor, right? These buyers and sellers, they're not gonna go out of their way to come find you again, right? When they're ready to sell the condo that they bought 5 years ago and they're ready to, upgrade to a townhouse or a single family detached, they're just gonna go with whoever comes, into their into their attention first, right? So they're not gonna remember or bother to look for you. So you gotta stay on top of their mind, and that's why it's important that you use a status called close in your database, so that you can continue to send some marketing material to them, specifically because you've already proven that you can be successful in helping them complete a transaction. So another really good status to maintain. Next, we're going to talk about, other than statuses, we're going to talk about contact type. So for example, when, let's say you're doing cold calling, right, every day, every morning, and you're just, you need to get yourself kind of in the mood, right? So you want to find people to talk to in the morning that you would want to talk to, right? Maybe you don't want to do cold calling just to strangers, and maybe you want to talk to people that you've already had some relationship with and you have some rapport with already. It could be like talking about sports, or maybe you like talking about politics, right? It's kind of a scary one to discuss.
Or travel.
Or travel, right? Whatever interests you, right? Find people that are of the same interests of you. I know I'm not a realtor, but if I was a realtor, I know that there's a little bit of anxiety doing some cold calling. So I would want to first start my day talking to people about topics that I want to talk about, right? Like, for me, it's sports, right? But for Heather, it could be travel, right? So putting people in your database into those buckets, into those groups or categories, can really help you kind of organize yourself on what kind of marketing they should get. So for example, let me go to my all tab here. And I've already created some contact types. Like I've got like sports fans here. I got spouses here, stuff like that. And I think I have that's a seller and all that stuff, right? Or first time buyer, that kind of deal. So it could be something like that, or yeah, it could be like you want to prioritize first time home buyers and make sure that they're always in front of your database. So that's what the contact type is for. And once you've established those contact types, you can customize your dashboard and just make your own tab, right? So, if I want a tab for all my sports fans, I can do that. So now I've got a tab for them that I can just go back to every morning. I can just, talk to those guys first. Michael, so far I've heard lots of good theory, but I was hoping to see specific about how to use your system. Yeah, Michael, so let me know if there's a specific part of the system you want to show you. But for example, I'm talking about contact status and contact type, right? So if you want to change someone's contact status, let's say here, Austin and Angela Bembry, right? Right there. As soon as you're in the dashboard, you can change it from active. Let's say, oh, I already sold them a house. I'm going to send them to closed. Right. So that's one way you can change the statuses. And then for contact type, let's say Austin and Angela Bembry, I talk to them and I put into the contact type here, they're a buyer, and they are looking for, farms or whatever, farmland, right? So they're more interested in that kind of property. So I can create as many contact types as I want. I don't have to use the ones that's in there. So yeah, changing the status, all you have to do is open the contact and change the status right from the dashboard. Or if you need to change the contact type, you just edit the contact and start plugging them in and then just hit save. And I believe there's one more thing I can show you. Let's see here. We've got all these mass actions here. So if let's say you're looking at your list of all your contacts and you're just like, you know what, I want all my contacts that starts with an A. I'm going to put them into a new contact type. I can actually mass do a mass action. So I don't have to do it individually. I can just go select, let's say 3 people. And I can use these mass action options in here. So there's one for like, if you want to mass delete people, mass apply an action plan or a task plan, send them a group email, put them into the contact sync, and then this one, add to contact type. So I can do that. And let's just say, you know, East Coast clients, right? There we go, and add. So it's easy, right? It's easy to put people into contact types and contact statuses.
And like how Ali asked as well. So when you are adding a type, they do all come in as a default gray, which can be a little bit boring. And sometimes you see these bright colors, they do kind of pop out to you a little bit more, which is easy to keep organized as well. So if you go down to your settings in the very bottom left, and you go to UI settings, it's at the bottom. This is kind of like your advanced settings area. So if you have that type, whether it's buyers or sellers or your sports fan or whatever type that you want to change the color, you would just click on add new color and put in that type that you created, and you can pick any color for it. You can also customize it. So you can either pick the colors here that have already been created for you, or you can customize it from the wheel.
Let's go with the gold color. There we go. East Coast.
That makes it pop a little bit more.
There we go. So yeah, so when I'm looking at my contacts here, they pop out, right? Diane, how do I search and export group of contacts based on contact type? So that's good. That's a good question, Diane. Actually, you can do a search by contact type. So let's start there. So let's say you want to search for all your sports fans, right? There's actually a little keyword, and it's the, don't worry, this is the only keyword that you have to kind of make a note of. It's the keyword word called is, so is, and then the colon, and then whatever contact type that you want. So let's say you want to look up contacts in your, let's say that you want to look for all the contacts that are a spouse, right? Something like that. So you just use that keyword is colon and then whatever contact type you want to look for.
And if I could just quickly add to that as well. So there's a couple different ways that you can search for type. You can, like, say if you're right here from your main screen under type where you can see them in color, you can click right on the specific type if you see it on your page, and that'll also group them together.
Yeah.
If you click on the type. There you go. And now whatever type you clicked on, it will group those together, as well as in the top right corner where you're putting is colon and then the type name. You can, after it, let's just say, for example, you wanted to search 3 types. You have 3 that you need to search all of them at the same time. Right after this here, you can just put a comma and put the next type. You don't have to keep putting is with the colon, just put is in the colon at the beginning one time. After that type, put comma and then put the next one in. So now Dan's looking for buyer and sports fans. So he's going to see all of those contacts for buyers and sports fans.
Oh, maybe I have too much. Let's just go with East Coast. Well. All right, let's just do a more simpler one just for example purposes. There we go. Maybe I don't have any cell there. Oh, maybe, oh, I think I didn't put a comma.
And Dan, we also have a question here from
it.
Nancy. I'll get you to.
Nancy, how do you get to hear from contact management? I'm not sure what page you're referring to, Nancy, where you're saying contact management, but right now we're going over like how to edit a contact type and add a contact status. So you can do it individually or en masse. So you have to do that all in this contacts tab here on the left. So if you're in any of the other tabs, just make sure you go to the contacts tab on the top left. Okay. And then you can either use the search, which whether we're showing, or you can open a contact and change your statuses right there. So not much instructions there. And then if you need to change their contact type, just hit the edit contact. Perfect. Yeah, just hit the edit contact and you can change it for that individual person. If you're doing it for like a bunch of people all at the same time, you don't have to do it individually. You just select the people that you want and you'll see all these mass action options appear at the top here. So like if you want to put them all into a specific contact type, you can do it that way. So it's all under the contacts tab. Maybe that's the step that you were missing there, Nancy. Now, the second part, Diane, of your question, how do you search and then export those contacts? So right now, we're still working on the ability to export your contacts from your Top Producer X. So that's definitely one of those features that we do have a way. Like if you need to export your contacts, there is a way to do that. Just hit the chat button, and it just depends on like what you're searching for. For labels, yeah, we don't have the ability to print labels, Diane. We in the Top Producer X, but we do have some options for you to be able to do that. And if you're familiar with our classic version, you can. Yeah, Diane, so it sounds like you're using 8i. As for those that don't know, we have another version. You guys all have access to it called Top Producer 8i. It's our older one where you can, there's still some functionality in there that people might be interested in, like printing labels and stuff like that. So yeah, Diane, you can go back and forth. You know, for anyone here that uses 8i, you don't have to stop using 8i. We love using 8i. We you know, 8i is great as well. So you go back and forth. If you need to do labels, do it in 8i. If you need to do export, go do it in 8i, right?
Until hopefully in the future, everything you want to see is all in one place.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it takes time, just like with any software, right? Like you can, you know, there's Microsoft, like a multi-billionaire company, right? That's still upgrading Windows, and they have different version of Windows, just kind of like that, right? There's some new features in our newer version that's just not possible in our older version, right? So it just kind of, you know, just normal with any software. Nicole, does all of the information in Top Producer X auto integrate to 8i? So yeah, Nicole, the short answer to that is yes. All your contacts between both are the same. Nancy, I have old version. I have one even before 8i. What is new one? So the new one, Nancy, is this one. This is Top Producer X. It doesn't say X anywhere there, but that's just what we call it, Top Producer X. The previous one is 8i, and then the previous one before that is 7i. The previous one before that is 6i and 6 and Top Producer, and then I think it was called Home Store in the beginning for anyone here that remembers that, right? It was before my time when I joined the company over about 12 years ago. I think 6i was just being phased out, and 7i was also on the way out. So we're kind of in that transition again, going from 7i to 8i. Same thing, we're going from 8i to TPX, right? Started 7i. Nice, Nancy. Thank you for being with us for a while now. Yeah, it's been a good adventure, hopefully, for you. But yeah, going back on topic here. Hopefully I answered your question, Diane. It did sound like I did. You said perfect. So that's how you search by contact type and export them. And going back to Michael, hopefully, so far, those specifics I've shown you on contact status and contact type, and showing you how to do that, that kind of helped. And there's more. We got more stuff that we're going to go over today. So
sorry, Michael, if you do have any specific questions that you would like us to show you, just definitely reach out in this chat here, and we'll show you that. And if I can just also add to, we did, I think, follow or mention this in the getting started. But here, when you do log in and you go to your contacts tab, this is going to be like your default, or this is going to be the page that you see when you sign in. Right now, Dan is on the all. Usually when you sign in, you'll automatically go to your new tab, but you can change this. So you can have it go to any tab up here across the top, any of these status tabs. So when you sign in, maybe you want to automatically go to your active clients because those are the people you're working with. So you can set that to a default. That's one thing I do really like about the system. It is very customizable.
Yep. Thank you for that little pro tip there. Definitely use the this gear icon and then set it as a current default tab if there's a tab here that you want to keep going back to every time you log in. All right, so finish that first item that you'll want to know after you set up your Top Producer X. Next thing we're going to talk about is the follow-up coach. So despite your best efforts, right? You know, you have a database of hundreds of people, thousands of people, right? It's just not feasible for you to be able to remember 1,000 people every day to talk to, right? Or when you last time to talk to them, right? If you have that kind of memory, you know, you would probably not be here, and you'd probably be a trillionaire or something like that, right? But yeah, so if you need help with remembering, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a while, right? That's where the follow-up coach comes into play. It automatically, you know, goes through your database and make sure that if you haven't talked to someone in a while, and depending on what kind of person they are, like, you know, are they new status, future, are they a past client, you know, were they just imported, right? There's all these different algorithms that we use, and we just give you 5 suggestions, 5 people to talk to for that day, right? So it's very bite-sized portion. We're not trying to overwhelm you. And this is like another good way to, like, let's say you have a bit of free time. Maybe you're waiting at an appointment, you're sitting in your car and you're like, oh, you just got a text saying, you know, your client's going to be an hour late due to traffic or whatever the reason may be. You can pull up your top producer on your laptop and then just start working these 5 people, right, while you're waiting, right? You don't even have to call them or anything. You can just review them and say, oh yeah, you know what, Ali here, he's not actually new here. I've already talked to him, right? He's actually he's not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. And you know, he said to give him a call again tomorrow, right? He's kind of worried about the recession, and you know, why should he you know, try to buy a house now? You know, it's kind of scary. And you know, I'm the expert and I'm gonna guide him through this year. And it's actually not as bad as what it might seem like in news. News kind of, like, you know, over glorifies things to get clicks, right? Get views, right? So I'm the expert, I'm the realtor, I know exactly what's going on. Obviously, yes, it's not the greatest environment, but it's not as different as people think it could be, right? You know, it's still a good time if you want to go buy your dream home. It still might be the right time right now, right? So I'm gonna engage with them tomorrow. So all I do is just hit engage, and I'm gonna wrap up that call actually. So anytime you talk to any of your clients, you don't have to go to like the task tab even to like do that. You can just wrap it up. Just there's a button here, and even like, let's say you're going to important dates and you know, you remember that they had a birthday like a week ago on Saturday, right? And then you come back and like, oh, you know what, Ali, it's Ali's birthday on the 7th. I forgot to greet him yesterday about that when I talked to him, right? So when you're just cycling through your contacts and you're seeing all this information that, you know, that you've recorded in your database, right? And you happen to come up with like an important piece of information that triggers you to give them a call, you can click on this wrap up button and start recording that, right? The more you record into the system, the better it is going to be for you in the long run, right? Because, you know, 6 months from now, right, you're going to remember, oh yeah, I did greet Ali a birthday 6 months ago, about a week ago after that, right? And that's just going to help you with your building rapport with that client. So there's that wrap up button for you guys to use and say, yeah, I spoke to him yesterday, worried about recession, and if now is a good time to buy. Agreed to call him again, let's just say on Friday, right? And I can schedule it right from the same screen, right? I don't have to go somewhere else and kind of get lost in the shuffle. I can schedule it right from the same screen. I'm going to give him a second call, follow up about possibly purchasing first. And I can schedule that. There we go. Make sure to come up with recession related talking points for first time home buyer, right? And then I just hit save. So I just did two things all in one screen. I recorded what I did and I just scheduled myself the next thing to do. So if I happen to go into his contact record, I can see that, I got a scheduled call tomorrow, right? I don't have to go into his record and let's say I don't remember, I talk to a billion people all the time and I don't remember that I was supposed to call Ali. To see all your tasks that you're supposed to do on the left-hand side, you can see there's a task tab. It'll show you what you have to do today, right? Because, you're a busy person, so you'll probably have a bunch in here. We don't want to overwhelm you and show you all your tasks that you have to do for the next year, right? So we show you just for today. But then if you want to see tomorrow's, there you go. You can see that I have a call with Ali. And then if I want to go even further, I can see the next 7 days. I can even set a date range, right? All these tasks, these are also good too when you need to, let's say you're going out in the rural area where there's not a good signal, right? And you don't have data, so like you can't go on the internet when you go out outside of the city and there's bad signal all over the place wherever you're going. You can actually print your task list, right? So there's a little button here. So I say, I want to show you I want to see all my tasks that I have to do for today. I can show that on my screen here. Hit the little printer icon, and there we go. It generates a PDF, and I can just save it and then or print it. Right? I don't have an actual printer here, but yeah, you can print it out, and you don't have to worry about not having access to it when you're out in the field where there's no data. Any questions on anything to add about the wrap up, Heather, before I think there's a question there by Listen.
Yeah, no, I was just saying about the question there, but no, I feel like you covered everything there with the wrap up. So if we can get to Listen here about using, so I'm not exactly sure if I understand what you're asking here, but the calendar between 8i and X. So if you're sharing, where you say shared calendar, in Top Producer X, you do have the option, if you do have a team and you're sharing your calendar, if that's what you're referring to, you do have the option that you can toggle down between your team members' names and see their calendars and kind of switch back and forth there, if that's what you mean by shared calendars.
Yeah. So
what do you think, Dan?
Like if you, yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can see everybody's too, right? So let us know Listen if it's something else. Okay, great, perfect. Thank you.
And voice notes, at this time, that's not an option, but I think that's actually a great suggestion. And Dan, if maybe you can show everyone here our feedback where they can make their suggestion for anything that you think would be, handy for you guys using. Or I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to dive into that a little bit. Can these notes be voice notes? Listen. So, is that just like so you can you don't have to type it in manually, and you want to use voice to type your notes in, or do you actually want audio recordings in here, right? So if it's the first thing, if you just wanted to transcribe something, there are third-party apps you can do that, and they should have like a plugin where you can go on your browser and then you start typing. And I think like let's say Chrome, I don't know if Google does this, but I know you can do it on your phone where you can start talking and it'll start typing whatever it is on your screen. We don't have an app yet. It's coming hopefully in the next month or so. Don't quote me on that, but our app for Top Producer is coming. So that might be something you can try. Listen, make a note for yourself once the mobile app is ready. Try going into the notes section of a contact and use Google Assistant to see if it'll start typing your notes in for you. Driving back from an appointment. Oh yeah. You want to use your Bluetooth in your car to like put in a note, right? Yeah, no, that would be cool, right? So maybe that's something that we can integrate directly into the system instead of relying on whatever phone you have. If you want to submit that as a feedback for anyone here, any suggestions that you have, we actually have a dedicated portal called it's called feedback here. So if you just click on that, it'll take you to this portal here where you can make your own suggestions. And the reason why I like this is you're not relying on me, the customer care person, to relay exactly what you want. You can talk directly to our product team, our developers, to say, hey, I like to be able to put in voice notes, and this is exactly how I'd like to do it. Can you guys look into me being able to implement that, right? Obviously, they're not going to just, take every suggestion and put it into the system, right? But the more you put it in there, anyone can see your suggestion. All the different users that we have can see your suggestions, and if people like it, they can just hit a little thumbs up button, right? All right.
Exactly. It is the development team that's going to see this. When they're the ones creating it. So you definitely want to give them the feedback saying, hey, we'd like to see this. And your suggestion might already be there already. So just definitely, like Dan said, make sure to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, and the more thumbs up it has, the more attention it's going to get from the product team, right? And hopefully that'll make it easier for them to make that decision to put it in there. So yeah, definitely, if I may ask, listen, when you have time, hit that feedback button and let our product team know that, how you would like to see that being implemented. If you have any suggestions on how we can do that.
I wonder if it's already in there. Can we check that right quick to see if you
voice
just want
notes? Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just see if it's already a suggestion, and then we can give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it in. No, I don't see it. I don't see it right away. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't see it right away. So yeah, if you don't see it, it's really easy to create it. So if you go back to the first page there, just hit this make a suggestion page and just fill it out. And so it's just a simple form. And we implemented a lot of the newer features into Top Producer X based on what you guys put into this feedback, into this dashboard. So for example, recently released here, ability to mass check and delete tasks, multiple tasks. I'll be able to mass mark done tasks, right? There's a bunch of new releases that we've done based on your guys' suggestion. And there's pages and pages of that. So it's definitely built for you guys and by you guys, if you can, put into the fact that we use this feedback portal a lot as a company. Time check here, we got 15 minutes. So if you have any final questions, go ahead and post it into the chat. We got a really good discussion going on so far. Let me just close this up here. And we talked about the follow-up coach, right? We talked about the statuses and the types. And I started talking about being able to use templates and email integration and texting. So let's go over that right now using templates. So if you let me take a step back here. If you are sending the same marketing message over and over and over to your clients,
Boring.
Right? Boring. Yeah.
That's kind of had to throw that in.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're wasting your time, right?
Or delete, spam. So you send them something fun or something even give yourself, sorry, Dan, I'm cutting you in here.
No, I like it.
Even just make yourself a reminder for you to do something for them and not just sending them emails all the time. If I could throw this out here, I've mentioned it before in some of our webinars that I have a friend, he's a realtor. He's been a realtor for, gosh, I think right when we got out of high school, 20 plus years now. He's doing great. He does it all by referrals. But one thing he does every year, I just think it's a really neat suggestion, is that every year he drops off pumpkins to his past clients. My parents being one of them, they bought their house with him 16 years ago, and he still drops off a pumpkin every year. So I can guarantee you that when my parents go to sell their home, they will be reaching out to him because, how can you forget the guy that's giving you a pumpkin? So with these plans and being reminded on things to do, put that in your reminder, pick up pumpkins, or it doesn't have to be pumpkins, whatever you want it to be, or, make that drop off or show up at your customer's home with a basket or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think emails are great for the important information, but just don't do just emails all the time and kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, so that's basically what she's talking about is a routine, right? So we have a section in your top producer where you can set up your routine. Another example of a routine is, let's say you get a referral, right? And it's coming from a friend or a family, right? Family friend referral, right? You might be interacting them differently from just a random off the street person, right? The way you're going to interact with them is different. Your cadence is going to be different, right? Your cycle is going to be different as far as like how frequent you're going to be talking to them, right? Each demographic, you want to handle them differently. So in your top producer X, you can set up all your different routines under the marketing section in this task plans manager. We've got some in there already pre-built, right? If you want to try the ones that we have in there. But if you want to put in your own, I highly suggest you guys do that. For example, I have one in here that I created called Dance 2023 Cold Calling Plan, right? And this one, it's just a call. I'm going to call them once on the first day. I'm going to send them a text on the same day. And then 2 days later, I'm going to call them again. And then a week later, I'm going to call them a third time. Right, so it could be as simple as that, and all you have to do, and I'm going to start from the beginning here. You go to Marketing Task Plans Manager, click on this button, Add Plan. You can create from ones that you've already, the ones that's already existing, or you can create it from scratch. So let's say this is a contact plan, and the other ones are lead response and transaction. So just a little bit of a description on each one here. Contacts are people that you already know, right? You added them in manually, right? You know who they are basically already, right? Lead response is a special type of plan. Those are if you get online leads. We have actually something called the automated lead response plan, where it'll automate some of those responses to your leads. And the goal of it is to get them to respond back, right? So that's a really good one. And then the transaction, that one is more of your checklist of things that your routine. Every time you put up a listing, right? You always put it on the MLS. You get a photographer to take pictures. You put up the lawn sign. You know, you give them a listing agreement and make sure they sign it, right? So there's a routine or a checklist that you always do for transactions. So that's another plan type that you can select. But for my example here, if you're just doing a cold calling plan, for someone that you've already, you added in manually, you can just select contact, give it a name, whatever you want to call it. Let's say, Heather's 2023 cold calling plan, right? If you want to put a description, let's say you have an assistant or another team member, they might not exactly know what this plan is about, just reading the name here. Right? You can put a little description there if you'd like about what the plan is for. And then once you create that plan, then you can start putting in all the tasks that's part of that plan, all the different activities that's going to be part of that routine, right? So you just click on add task. What kind of task is it? Let's say a cold calling plan. Of course, I'm going to call them first, right? Cold call attempt 1. I want to do it the same day that they came in. Additional info, maybe I'm gonna give myself a checklist, right? Thank them for their interest in going into the real estate market. Ask them if they're renting or they already own, ask them if they're looking into moving anytime soon. So yeah, put in some notes for yourself, and then you can, if that's the only thing you have to do for now, you just hit save, or you can save another one. So I'm going to say save another one. So that's my first day. And let's say I'm going to give myself a couple of days buffer and call them a second time. Cold call time 2. Try again. let them know your website for more info. And then put in a third one. Let's say this is the final one. Right. Say you have a lot of clients to help, with their real estate needs, and this is your final attempt to help them with theirs if they're ready. Otherwise, thank them for listening to your message. Something like that. Now you've created, oh, maybe I forgot to change this. This is actually good. I forgot to change the due date here. So it's easy to edit something. So if I edit this one here, I just click on this little edit button. And let's say I'm going to give it 14 days, right? So there we go. I created a routine in my system, pretty quick. Took me a couple of minutes, right? All in the task plans manager. Obviously, that was a super simplified version of it, right? You guys will have your own different scenarios that you guys are going to be thinking about. So the first couple of times that you create routines in here might take 30 minutes or whatever. But the more and more you use it, the more easier it's going to get. Go ahead, Heather.
Well, I gotta say, I'm glad that this is just a test, because I have no desire to do cold calling myself.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we do have a few questions here. Nancy was asking about automatically sending out greeting emails. So that is a plan that you can add. Before adding any plans, I always suggest is going through your template library and creating your emails. So that way you can add those emails after to your task plans. So go through your template library. There's already templates available to you from the system, and then you can just customize them with the way you want. Or you can also add from scratch. So say if you have a specific one for Christmas or for New Year's, or I guess July 1st or 4th, you can make up this email, have it already saved in your library. Valentine's Day is coming up, and that doesn't change. That's always February 14th. So that is another thing. Definitely pick holidays that are on the same day of every year. So let's do a quick one up here. Happy Valentine's Day. Maybe we can add our little heart. Once we have this email saved,
something cheesy like that. Sorry, I'm not a salesperson.
Tis the season of love. Maybe your partner wants a new house. Maybe you gotta throw that in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe your wife is sick and tired of her house and wants a new one. So,
hinting.
I mean, throw some real estate in there when you're making up your emails for sure.
Newer place. One thing I do want to mention when you're creating a template, by the way, we went to marketing and then template library at the top, and we clicked on add from scratch. So we're now in the middle of creating this template. We have something called the template button here. And for those 8i users, in the previous version, it's called merge codes. So when you click on this template button, you can actually have it automatically plug in certain information into that template. So for example, if you wanted to always say their first name, right? Whoever you're sending it to, and you could be sending this to like 50 people at the same time, right? We actually have a mass, like a group email functionality in the system, which I kind of showed you guys in the beginning. But if you wanted to automatically use information from your database, click on this template button. And let's say you want their first name to show up right away. You can click on that, and it'll always show whoever your contact is, it'll always show their name. So there's that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, going along with this email template, once you've created all the email templates that you're happy with for all the holidays, you can then create a task plan called holiday plans, and then just have all your emails for for Christmas, for New Year's, for Valentine's Day, whichever holiday emails you want to send out, and have them attached to that plan that they will automatically send. So I hope that helped answer that, Nancy. And we do have a few more questions. We have a few more questions here, Dan. So
yeah. Let me just finish up this example here. So yeah, use that template button when you're creating the templates. And there's a whole bunch here on for you. So it's just a time saver, and it automatically uses what is already in your database. So when you're done, you just hit save template, and now it's there. So if you're planning to do like drip campaigns where you're sending an email every month or something like that, there's two parts when you're creating a drip campaign. The first part is create all your templates. That's part of that drip campaign, right? So month one email, month 2 email, month 3 email, all the way to month 12 email, right? So that's the first part, is creating the actual content. The second part is scheduling them, right? So if you want it every month, you got to schedule that every month. So you got to go to the task plans manager, create that plan, right? 2023 drip campaign, whatever it is, right? Create that plan, and now you can set up each email. Let's say month 1 email, and now you can set up each one. You can even set to auto send because you created all those drip campaign emails already in the template library, like month 1, month 2, month 3. You can just look it up. I'm just gonna use this for example here. Just pretend it says month 1, save that, and then now I can do the next month. So 30 days later, month 2, and then you just repeat that until you got all your 12 months in there, if you're doing like a monthly drip campaign.
And if you choose the email there, then I don't know if you just went over that and I missed it, but if you do choose the email as a task, then you can just choose the template that you just created.
Yeah, so month 2 template, let's just pretend that's month 2 template, and so on and so on. So if you
mark it auto send or not, and then you'll get reminded.
Yeah, so we are coming up 1 minute before time. We're gonna keep going if people have questions, but I want to make sure I wrap it up for those people that do have to go in about a minute here. Maria, it is recorded, so let's just jump to that part of the presentation here.
Sorry, I'm just going to go back and answer Diane's question. She was asking about recreating my personal action plans because you're using 8i. So there's a couple options here. So you would have to recreate them, or we do have the option, like we had mentioned earlier, about that one-on-one onboarding. So if you wanted to have that concierge and you pay that fee, then as part of the onboarding, we will help move over those plans for you. They don't automatically move. We would have to create them over for you. So unless you wanted to start from scratch and have something new, then you can just create them new in Top Producer X. Also, listen, we do have not a signature logo that we offer, but you can create your own signature that will automatically get added to emails when you send them out. And so to do that, you would go into your settings in the bottom left. Yeah. You would go to email signature right under, and then you would add your signature in there. So any signature that you have added, when you send out your email, that signature will automatically get added to those emails.
Yeah, so you can put in your logo or whatever you want in there, right? Just keep in mind there is a size limit, 1.3 megabytes. So if you don't know how to do on any of that technical stuff, just hit the chat button and we'll help you out. But I do have to address a couple of things here. Maria, will this be recorded? Michael said, thanks for the ideas. I can tell that I'm a much newer user than others, so I need to do more basic practice. Michael, no, you're fine. You're doing great. That's why we do these webinars just for you guys. You can come back as much as you want, and the more and more you join our webinars, the more and more you'll master it in no time, right? So we'll definitely here for you, Michael. This show especially is every Thursday, so would love to invite you again, Michael, if you can join us on our next Thursday session. And for any of our upcoming webinars, all you have to do is go to our topproducer.com or support.topproducer.com website, which is our campus website, where you can see all the videos and how-to guides and all that stuff. On the top right corner, webinar schedule. You can just keep registering for the webinars that we have, right? So especially for those of you that are coming from 8i, next week, I'm going to be going over, like, if you didn't already know all the benefits of why you want to start using at least X, along with your 8i. We're going to talk about that next week on Wednesday. And then for like the actual, how do I switch from 8i to X? We run that next week on Friday. But for those of you that are new, definitely keep joining us on the Thursday show. It's pretty much a free for all. Anything that comes up in the chat, we answer them on the chat.
Absolutely. Oh, and sorry, if I can just add to Michael as well. If you just wanted to go in and add yourself, if you haven't already, add your own name as a fake test in your CRM. And then that way you can just kind of test, like you can really test the program, send yourself emails, send yourself texts, or just to test the system out. Like Dan said, we offer the free live webinars every week. Make sure you come and sign up. And then if you're really stuck and you need that extra one-on-one, we offer that for a fee as well. So you do have lots of resources available to you, and you'll learn it and you'll learn it much faster than you think you will.
Yeah, and the recordings, Maria, I just posted in the chat. Just go to this link. For anyone else, you can go to that link, bookmark it. We usually record these webinars and post it either the next day, the same or the next day. So this one specifically will probably be up there by tomorrow, if not by today. So all our webinars are recorded. So you can even check out the ones that we did before. If you want to learn all, if you want to go over some previous sessions, we've got all of them up in here. So if I was gonna say, if you're having a hard time sleeping, maybe you have this in the background while you're trying to fall asleep, maybe to bore you to death or something. But maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us today. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go if you need to go. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Dan Salcedo. Joining me is Heather. I had a lot of fun, a lot of great discussion. So for those of you that have to go, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And for those that have another question, we're gonna keep it open for another 30 seconds or so, just for any final questions here to see if do we have any questions, Heather, that we didn't answer yet, or?
I think we covered them all.
Covered them all. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Looks like everybody's going. You're welcome, Diane. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.